And now we're going to install the extension. First of all, we're going to head to the Chrome store. So if you just type this on Google, you're going to find the Chrome Web Store. You just click on it, click on Extensions, screenCastify. So all you have to do is to click on it to add to Chrome. Then you click on it, and then you're going to get a message like this, that this extension can show you notifications and it can capture the content of your screen, which is something that we want. So once you've installed and you've restarted your browser, you should get an icon like this, which is the icon that shows you where your extensions are. And then if you click here, you're going to find the screenCastify extension. Okay, so with this extension now open, because this is the first time you're using it, screenCastify is going to ask you to sign in with Google. And why is that? You've got to understand that you have to grant permission to screenCastify to edit, to create, and to delete files in your Google Drive, because otherwise how can they put videos, how can they put files there? And I know that the idea of granting access to your account to an extension like that might sound a little bit scary. Well, I would tell you not to worry, because these guys, they have been doing this for a long time. Google trusts them, otherwise their extension would not be available. And you don't have to worry, because as far as I know, these guys, they only use this in order to save the screencast that you're going to be producing into your Google Drive account. So you just click on allow, and then it signs in. So you see at this point you've signed in, and then you just say that yes, you agree to the terms and privacy policy, blah blah blah. If you don't want to receive emails, occasional emails about new features and new updates, you just leave these unchecked. If you want to be informed, by all means, click on it. I'm gonna, because this is just a demonstration for you, I'm gonna keep it unchecked. Okay, and now that I've done that, I mean, screenCastify wants to know what kind of user you are. So I think it's a good idea if you say that you're a teacher. And we don't have an option here for the kind of teacher that we are. So I'm just going to go with higher education plus, which means others. Okay, then we do that, and then we finish. So you see, at this point, you've kind of integrated this extension with your Google Drive account. Okay, then comes the configuration. In other words, you have to enable your microphone and your webcam. In other words, you have to give permission to screenCastify to access your microphone and your webcam. And you say yes. Just say that you allow. At this point, we've already restarted our browser to make sure that the extension is effectively integrated as an extension to our browser. And now I have everything we need to record, to screencast, basically. And then for the purpose of this exercise, I just loaded to the screen a page of mine in which I have some exercises that are prepared for my students. Basically, all I have to do at this point is to click on the extensions, click on screenCastify, explain or set that I'm going to record a tab. The microphone and the camera have already been configured. I want screenCastify to start the video with a countdown, because then I know exactly when it's starting. I wanted to show the drawing tools, and I wanted to record that tab audio. In other words, if there's audio on this page, I want it to be recorded as well. Then when I click record, after a few seconds, you see the countdown. So you can see my camera, and you can see the toolbox down here. Okay, so very briefly, I'm going to go over the toolbox with you so that you have an idea of the kind of things that you can do with it. Okay, so question number one. So suppose I'm teaching a class and I want to use a mind map. So how would I go about using this as resource material as a teacher? Okay, as something to help me improve my classes. So suppose I want to prepare a video in which I explain to my students how I want them to use the map. Okay, so I would draw their attention to something like this. Okay, guys, so when you get to this point here, what I want you to do is this. I want you to focus on this part of the map. So we have the verb to give up. We have the words job, London Bank. And down here, you have the name of the character in the story, which is Richard Bennett. So your job is to link these two and basically construct a sentence like, okay, Richard Bennett gave up his job in a London bank. That's what I want my students to do. But for you who are learning to use this tool, I want you to know that we've got these tools here. So for the second part of the map, which I want to draw my students' attention to, I could perhaps change colors. And now I want a kind of an orange square. So you see, we've got all these colors here that we can explore. Okay, but be careful not to overdo it, because your screen becomes visually polluted. I think you should be careful not to do that. And you've got this button here that you can always click on it in order to clean your screen. Okay, then if you click here, you go back to all the tools that are available in your toolbox. So there's a pen tool that allows you to draw anything in free form. Once again, you can clean the screen by just clicking on clear. Notice that whatever you're doing, it shows here at the top which tool is actually activated at that moment. And then when you go back, you can change the tool. For example, this time, the tool that I want you to know about, I want you to use, is the mouse tool. So if you click on the mouse tool, you have these three options here. The classic, which is just a cursor. And then the focus one is the one in which it kind of darkens the screen, and then it keeps a kind of a spotlight just where the cursor is. This is really good for drawing your students' attention to an area that you want to draw attention to. And then we've got this one here, which is the fireworks animation, which I think is really cool. Because, for example, suppose that I want my students to understand that the reason why I've got this yellow note here is for them to know where the prepositions or the extra words are. Because, for example, the particle to of the infinitive form of the verb to walk is here. So, okay, so to walk, and to walk to the South Pole. Okay, so I can use this to show my students. Okay, and basically that's it. So once your video is recorded, okay, which I'm gonna stop recording right now. Notice this, almost finished. So when I click here to stop, because anyway, I've got a 5-minute window of time that I can explore. So then screenCastify brings me automatically to this place, which is basically an editor, okay, that allows me to edit this video that I have just finished recording. So at this point, if I click here, as the source material, the source of information. Okay, so for instance, I've got this mind map here, in which gave up his job. Well, options here that is for them to. Okay, so as you can see, your video has been recorded. Okay, and you can use this tool here for making edits. In other words, you can cut the video, you can remove parts that you didn't like, and so on. Today we're not going to talk about editing the video yet, because we need more time for that. The objective of this class today is just to show you how you can install this in your Google Chrome, and how we can record something very basic, very simple. In other words, I want to provide you with enough information so that you can hit the ground running. Okay, now that your video has been recorded, okay, there are lots of things that you can do. Okay, you can create interactive questions. Now this application in the future will allow you to see how many people has viewed has come to your site, to your drive, and how many people have seen your video, because you see you can copy a shared link of your video, and you can share this with your friends or with your students. So for instance, I'm gonna get this copy here, and I'm gonna go into a different browser now. Okay, I'm gonna go, well, it's still Google Chrome, but in a different account. And I'm gonna open a fresh tab here, a blank one, and I'm just gonna copy and paste it there. And once I click OK, you see my video is there. The video that you have just recorded is available. So you can see my camera, and you can see the toolbox down here. Okay, so very briefly, I'm going to go over the toolbox with you so that you have an idea of the kind of things that you can do with it. Okay, so question number one. So suppose I'm teaching a class and I want to use a mind map as... Okay, so back to screenCastify. So as I was saying to you, okay, once your video has been recorded, a link is generated and you can watch the video. You can also click here to open this thing that they call the screenCastify editor. Then once again it signs into your account, and it gives you all these options, okay, editing options, and there are some pretty cool things that you can do with it. But like I said, we're not going to take a look at this right now. This is material for our next class. Okay, right, so I'm just going to go back to this one here, which shows us our video details. Okay, another thing that we can do is this. We can delete this file, okay, because if you don't want this file, you can simply delete it. And if you click here, it gives you an option, okay. It gives you actually several options. One of them is, for example, to take you to your recordings. So for example, if you click here, it shows you all the videos that you've recorded so far. So today, because we recorded the first one, it only shows one video. Okay, let me see if there's anything else that I should say about this. Okay, right, okay, so back to this screen here. Well, now I'm going to show you what happens in your Google Drive account now that this application, this extension, has been integrated with your Google Drive. So if I click here to open a fresh tab, and if I go into my Google Drive, then you're going to see that I've got a new folder called screenCastify. And this is the folder which will be used by screenCastify to store all your videos. So once again, very powerful tool.